I've grown to actually start resenting the thing that I've built because I'm exhausted by the whole being so heavily involved.
Right now, you can be classified as a COO or a growth strategist, but your job description right now looks more like a chief everything officer. I can't even imagine how this business that you're working with will function without you. And that's not sustainable because you want a system to be a gel, not a human to be a gel. You don't ever want to work with a whale client who has a big company, but is also an asshole.
Ironically, that's the client I'm currently with.
We have gone from I am the chief everything officer of medical sales agencies who does everything for them and with them, to I help medical sales agencies to turn over their sales teams and streamline sales operations for scale.
Thank you so much. This was very helpful.
A large part of operations that we do with our clients is around, like, we work with lots of marketing agencies or service-based agencies, and one of the main things that agency owner faces or get bombarded with is scope creep. And they send a proposal out and a client asks them, hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do this for me? And then they just go from this scope to this scope without ever raising their prices, and they're overwhelmed. Every single client comes to them with a customized problem, and then they have to bring them through a customized solution. Nothing is systematized, nothing is repeatable, and as a result, what can you do? There's no way to scale.
Right.
Yep. So that's why before I even talk about processes and SOPs for my clients, as we dive into operations, we've got to figure out what are those SOPs or what are those processes going to be based off of. Because if you're doing a million things for a million people, then we can build processes infinitely, but as every single client comes in with a new thing, you will just have to rebuild a different set of SOPs, and nothing is going to be repeatable, and you can't scale anyways.
Yeah, exactly. An already producing business model. Yeah.
Awesome. Happy to cover that. So let's kick this off. The main, the one sentence that every single business offer must be presentable or positioned within one sentence in order for it to be clear and concise for their target markets. And the way that I frame it is, I help who achieve yay without boo, even if no can do.
Oh,
yeah.
Love it.
So, for example, for a fitness offer, that would be, I help busy moms lose weight and keep it off, even if they have 2 kids who's always screaming for dessert all day long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's going to be a super clear positioning statement, and we just want to be clear rather than clever.
Right.
So, for you right now, obviously there's going to be a before and after definition of this as we build out your product offer, but for now, what will be a version of that? Let's start with who. Who will be medical sales agencies, right?
Yes.
Okay. So those be med sales agencies. And then yay, how would you describe the result that you've been providing to your client right now?
Yeah. I would give, I think the biggest thing is I just give solutions. Problem is presented, I architect a solution, and then I execute it. And then I document it.
Okay.
So problem, solution, execution, document.
Gotcha. You're basically diagnosing a problem.
Yeah.
And you're the strategist of the solution.
Yes.
But you're also the implementer.
Yes.
Which is pretty overwhelming already.
Most of my bandwidth and energy goes into being consumed by the problem. So I feel the problem, I see the problem, and then it goes into actually implementing the solution is where most of my energy goes.
Yeah, I can already see how that's happening, because you know how when we hire coaches or when we hire consultants, they're able to provide a solution because they have that 30,000-foot view.
Yeah,
but when you're
exactly.
also in implementer mode, then you immediately get stuck in the weeds and you kind of lose perspective.
Right, and then I get tied up into the actual, I am personally attached to the actual implementation. it's harder for me to then pull myself out to have that 30,000 foot view. I can get sucked in and I lose my clarity sometimes by being wrapped
Okay.
up in it.
How about the problem? I know you're solving a lot of problems right now, but if you can, narrow it down to the top 1 to 3 problems that you recurrently solve for your current clients. And also, you did mention that you see common bottlenecks amongst all the other medical sales agencies that you're in the network with. So what are those main problems?
I think the biggest thing is organizational dysfunction. So just like chaos amongst a team from top down, because there's no actual systems for communication, logistics, organization in place, which is why a lot of the same problems are experienced. Because there's no systems, there's no repeatable solution that can be like a playbook that's like plugged into every stage of growth.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And all this leads to what as the pain as described by your clients? Do they say, I cannot scale, or do they say, I'm burnt out? Like, what are the symptoms that they feel on their end?
I think burnt out is one for sure. I think that one of the pain points they feel is being frustrated with their team and not actually understanding the root of the problem.
Yep.
So performance issues within a team. I can look at a team dynamic and I can understand what's going on there in terms of why people maybe aren't performing, or why there's resistance, or why certain personalities are clashing, which is affecting the operational flow and output.
Okay, got it. And the pricing right now is a base monthly.
Growth bonus.
Okay, so percentage growth bonus. Right. Now, this is what, like, there's a high level of the what you do. And now I want to cover or break down how you do it so that we can just see what to keep, what to systematize, what to stay as, like, what to keep custom. And after that, we're going to then reverse engineer your ideal version of Hu Ye Bu, so that we can just pick the components and create an offer that will allow you to be valued the right way. You're serving clients who you're happy to work with, and most importantly, working with them doesn't feel like you dragging a cow up the hill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
That's a good way of putting it.
Been there, done that. What
Yeah.
can I say? As you explained to me, your offer is pretty comprehensively complex, to say the least.
Yes.
So let's do a quick recap of everything that you are doing for your clients right now and categorize them across these 3 categories: consulting, service, and systems.
Yeah.
Then you can easily break down your deliverables into these 3 components, and depending on how one-to-many or how customized you want to be with your offer 2.0, we can see what we should make scalable or productize. Okay?
Perfect.
So let's start with systems, because I think that's the easiest part. What kind of systems, or just you
Hard
build up
copies.
for it?
I have the agency operating system that is basically like 100 systems within a system. So it's just a organized place to manage every aspect of the business: operations, marketing, and sales. And those are all the things that I work with within an agency, is operations, marketing, and sales.
Yep.
So each part of that agency operating system has its own operating system. So operations OS is everything operations related, from hiring, training, SOPs, compensation plans, onboarding plan, growth goals, and several others. Marketing is everything inside the marketing hub. Each platform has its own hub, or has its own system. So there's a system for LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and newsletter. In there, there's a synced content calendar. And then there are custom ChatGPTs that have been custom created for that specific agency's brand because it's the brand of who they are in their territory that really sells.
This is all in Notion, right? Okay.
Yeah. So there's that, their custom GPT, and then there's also prompts. Then there's also content templates. And then
Yep.
there's also analytics tracking.
Okay, so basically the whole shebang of
Yeah. And then
SOPs and ops materials to run a business.
And then there's sales, which has the CRM, sales scripts, sales strategy. And so I actually go in and I create the strategy. And then there's team performance reviews for the sales team, sales scorecards for the team that are automatically reported in a dashboard, all of that kind of stuff.
Okay. And when you say CRM, you're referring to your white label, go high level, right?
So there's
Got it.
essentially two systems in Notion, and then the Go High Level White Label, and that's called Scale Agency.
Scale agency. Okay.
And so the Notion system is like what houses everything, and then the Scale Agency is what executes everything.
Okay, great. Now, I'm not going to go into consulting just yet because you've already mentioned a few things, especially with the marketing stuff that you're doing for your clients as a service.
Right.
So, service-wise, given that you're actually doing quite a lot, let's break them down into everything you're doing in ops, marketing, and sales. Okay. Okay, let's go bottom up. Sales. What are you currently doing as the implementer of your sales?
So I'm doing the prospecting. I'm qualifying. I'm identifying new prospects.
Yep.
I'm doing lead generation, or I'm supporting lead gen.
With marketing though, right?
Yes.
I would put it in marketing.
Okay. So prospecting, and then I'm actually involved in the sales process. So I'm doing the sales meetings, the negotiations.
Yep.
I'm not doing the fulfillment part of the job as much anymore, but I'm qualifying the leads. I'm moving the prospects from different stages. I'm creating the sales scripts. I'm identifying growth opportunities and market expansion opportunities to create sales goals.
Yep. Do your clients typically have their own sales team, or for you, you are their sales team?
They have their own sales team that are actually, well, currently in the one agency that I'm primarily with, they do have their sales team, but their sales team also does fulfillment. And so but this is a common issue that people in my industry have, is that they fall out of that sales cycle because then they get trapped in fulfillment. Or the sales cycle is outdated, so then therefore they get burnt out by it. I'm kind of substituting and stepping in that sales process while they're stuck in fulfillment. But what I'm doing is growing the team to replace me in that.
Yeah.
But ideally, in a perfect world for my clients, like, I'm not doing their sales.
I was just about to say, because your offer is best positioned as a growth strategist offer,
Yes.
or a growth partner offer. And right here, these are role responsibilities of a appointment setter, sales development rep, or a closer.
Right.
And that is definitely not going to be within your scope if you were to scale.
Yeah. So
If I
then
were
I would
to-
take all that out.
If I were to refine this in any ways, the maximum that I would do is number one, create the sales systems, and number two, assist them in recruiting or expanding their sales team. But obviously, the systems or the process must come before the people. So I would absolutely, first off, assess the current efficiency of their current sales team and the current sales process, because we never ever want to add more people into a clunky machine.
Yes, exactly. What I'm trying to do is create the system to remove me from that and fill the gaps, but in a way that's optimized, like a system that's optimized and scalable.
Given that they have their own sales team in existence, I will probably not even have dove into this in the first place. I would just find a way to replace their sales team from doing so much fulfillment work and streamline their processes. And if you already find that, okay, let's say if those people are really dialed in as both a hybrid sales and fulfillment rep kind of role, then I will just go ahead and make sure that their sales ops from onboarding to on-ramping to KPI, expectation, everything is all cleared up, and then hire whoever is going to do this rather than doing this for like yourself.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So build
Yeah.
the system, build the infrastructure essentially, and then hire to place.
Exactly. That is how I will approach this.
Okay. I
Yeah.
see.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So, marketing.
Marketing, I do all of their content creation.
What are you not doing?
I need clarity.
Content creation.
Creation, I create the content calendar. Content distribution.
Yep.
I align our marketing goals with their sales goals. So depending on what our sales goals are, I'll create a marketing campaign around that using newsletter.
Yep.
And I am tracking the analytics, the data. This is an area that I'm still trying to optimize. So I'm incorporating a lot of what I learned from Founder OS into this container. And I'm testing things out. So with my marketing strategy, I'm trying to create more inbound leads to support outbound efforts and build authority and trust in this agency's territory by creating a digital presence.
Okay.
So it's a strategy that I'm currently testing. Yeah.
And for content, you mentioned Instagram and YouTube.
I haven't used YouTube yet, but I've created the platform and the system, and everything is systematized for it. I just haven't personally implemented it yet. Right now it's Instagram and newsletter, but we will end up doing YouTube and LinkedIn as well.
Okay. YouTube and LinkedIn. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't expect this list to be so long, so I think ops will just have to go down here.
That's fine, yeah. It's a lot.
Okay. Let's do this. Ops.
Okay, so for ops, I create the compensation plans. I create the role descriptions.
Yep.
I do talent acquisition, so I search for talent.
Okay.
I do the interviewing,
Okay.
do the hiring,
Wow.
and then I do the onboarding. And then I do the initial part of training. And then I eventually hand it off to the sales team.
Okay, so for this recruitment pipeline that you have created, what role is it for? Or do you hire for all roles?
All of them.
All roles.
Yeah. So like I would say What I've done more of is like the reorganization of the agency. So like the redefinement of roles that already exist and then optimizing the performance in each role by getting really clear on KPIs, job descriptions, all of that. The ones I've actually hired for are like newer, younger talent. In this industry, we don't call them that, but it would be like your setters and your sales development representatives.
Yeah, we call them SDRs.
SDRs. So those, because I can really like coach them. Whereas I'm more like consult on the higher level job positions on like what should be optimized and removed. Does that make sense?
We're almost there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you've provided all of the systems that a medical sales agency can ever have, and you're doing everything that a medical sales agency can ever do to maintain operations, consulting. What do you do?
I do the performance reviews, and I take those reviews and I use the reviews that I'm doing to give feedback to the founder or the agency owner
Yep.
on team performance, areas for improvement, ideas that I have to bring solutions to the problems I'm seeing. Pattern recognition for me, like what are the patterns within the agency that they're currently operating in that are either benefiting or hindering them,
Yep.
and bring all of that to the owner. And I strategize with them. I also am kind of like a counselor, to be completely honest. Like they come he comes to me, they come to me for advice or just as someone to vent to. And so oftentimes I'll just be that listening ear, but then I will deliver a framework or a solution of some sort based on what they're venting to me about. I'm listening to them, but then I'm taking all of that and funneling it down into a simple solution.
Okay. For performance review and reports, do you cover all departments from finance to marketing to sales to ops?
But anything related to compensation, to team dynamics, and like the organizational structure, I would say those are the big three.
Okay. So for, let's say, marketing performance and sales performance, are you in charge of compiling these reports around marketing and sales, or do you mainly cover HR reports?
Oh no, I do reports. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So I'm actually taking the sales data and I'm looking at the trends of that data of year over year and month over month. And I break that data down to inform on like what's working, what's not. And I use that data to also set quotas and all that kind of stuff.
Makes sense. Okay, just 1 second. All right. Here's what I can say. First of all, you are essentially building a whole operating system for medical sales agencies. And we can either spin, like, I see you taking 3 routes. It's just licensing everything that you've built
Yeah.
to medical sales agencies. And if required, become the consultant who can help them implement your operating system. And the upside with that is that obviously it's very scalable. You can package it into a consulting offer that's purely done with you. But the downside is that you have to qualify whoever is going to implement the OS very hard, as in they must have some kind of operator already in the business, or they must have, let's say, a sales lead or a sales manager who can implement your sales systems, and a marketing person or someone who can be qualified enough to be trained up to be the marketer who implements your marketing strategy and the content production process. And obviously with ops, if they have an operator, then the operator must be the person who implements this. So the main reason why I say this is because right now, you can be classified as a COO or a growth strategist, but your job description right now looks more like a chief everything officer.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how this business that you're working with will function without you.
Yeah.
They've put so much weight on your shoulders, making sure the business doesn't crumble apart, but it seems like you are the gel that gels all the departments together, and that's not sustainable because you want a system to be a gel, not a human to be a gel.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So the first route that I would take is the licensing route. The second route that I would take is a done for you route where you have more control over what is being delivered and how are things being executed for your clients and for your TAM. But when it comes to a done for you service, you have to make sure that you can create a very tight and defined scope. With that said, if you were to do done for you, I will, first of all, do strategy as a, as the, let's say, I will do strategy as the entry point. But then when it comes to the core delivery, we have to at least have a core focus as to, okay, are we a marketing service provider for medical sales agencies? Are we a sales ops agency? Or are we going to be in HR for these people?
Right.
Yeah, because let's say you eventually build a team to fulfill these done for you services for our clients. You can't expect whoever you come on board to become the account manager, you can expect them to know marketing, sales, and ops all together. For some reason, you have amazingly grown your way into knowing all of these things, but it's very hard to create a job description for that.
It really is. And that's where, like, currently, this model that done for you is like what I'm currently doing. And the scope is not tight enough and understood by everybody to where I have no control over my time and productivity.
Yeah.
And so I've become very turned off by the idea of actually being in a done for you position. I've grown to actually start resenting the thing that I've built because I'm exhausted by the whole being so heavily involved, and then it doesn't feel like I can take on more agencies.
Yeah.
I essentially created the actual tangible systems to be able to leverage those systems and remove myself from more of a licensing model, I think, is what I prefer. So if I license the model to agencies, then they would either need to have somebody in ops, or I would have to hire that position for them.
So for licensing, the first thing is that you've got to define what level of access they have around your systems. Because licensing comes in different levels. I'm not a lawyer and I cannot really go too deep on that, but you have to recognize, okay, is this licensing a limited usage licensing, as in they're only allowed to use your OS for their company? Or is this a white label licensing where they can put their own logo onto your OS and even clone it to implement for other agencies who they are affiliated with or who are also under the same umbrella?
Right.
Yeah, you have to decide what level of access your clients will have.
Yeah.
And the second thing, to go back to your question right here, the second thing to take into consideration is that when you provide them with these systems, at what level do you assist with the implementation?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
okay.
that, again, comes back down to how you will approach qualifying who you want or do not want to work with. For example, would the ideal agency that you work with be people who already have an operator who already have a core team across all departments, and are they already ready to scale? Do you want to work with those people? Or would you tolerate working with people who are at the more beginning phases where they still have yet to build out their core team? The founder is the doer of everything, and you are willing to either assist the founder in recruiting those core team members, or either partnering with recruiters or doing recruiting yourself to help the founder build the team and the process that will help him scale or her scale.
Yeah. Ooh, I need to talk through that a little bit because I've worked with both. Most of my experience has been the latter, where like more like an already existing team of like 3 to 5 people, but doing like significant enough business and numbers. But I've also built something up from the ground up. And I also find a lot of joy in that. This whole system was created as a solution for an agency that already is somewhat established and ready to scale. However, I do think some aspects of it would benefit the doer of everything ready to build.
Are you sure the agency that you're working with right now is an organization that is ready to scale and establish before you came into their business? Because if a company is established and built on a scalable foundation who's ready to scale, then you will not have to jump into the weeds yourself.
So no, they're not ready to scale. This is an infrastructure created to aid in scalability,
Yes.
to like set the foundation for scalability. So actually the friction that I'm experiencing now is that by implementing systems like this, it's asking for behavior change from an organization that is operated on dysfunction. And it's what they know. And so there's resistance towards to implementing things that are like systematized. And that's the bottleneck of that business. But if I weren't dealing with people that were so resistant to change, like they would already be in a more scalable position, but they're not.
The way that I will qualify people, apart from revenue, is their current team infrastructure.
Okay.
Okay, so the way that I approach qualification is through the 3-tier org chart. So tier 1, these will be the decision makers. So tier 1, founders and execs. And then tier 2, you will have like anyone who's a manager or team leads, which again, depending on the company size, may or may not exist for all respective departments. And then tier 3 would be your frontline doers who are executing everything that you have shared right here. So the first thing that we're going to look at will be the doers, because nobody would hire team leaders without hiring doers, right? At the beginning, it will probably be founder and some doers. Your job here is to decide, okay, if I were to break down my ideal client profile in 3 levels, ICP1s being whale clients who will pay the most, ICP2s being bread and butter clients who kind of are in a norm or at the middle bell curve of the industry,
Right.
who will attribute to most of your client roster, and tier 3 as people who are kind of lukewarm clients who barely qualify for your services, but then whilst they can pay you, they will take more effort and time to ramp up into results.
Right.
You have to first identify or categorize your clients into 3 ICP levels. And I think the way that you categorize those clients would factor in the following categories. Number 1 would be their current team. How big is their team? How bloated is their team, or how lean or undeveloped their team is?
Yeah.
That's the first one. The second criteria of qualification would be revenue. And the third would be their traits, as in you don't ever want to work with a whale client who has a big company, but it's also an asshole.
Right.
Want to grow and their team has a very, let's say, less preferred culture.
Ironically, that's the client I'm currently with.
Okay.
I'm fighting culture constantly.
Yeah. And since you are learning how to build a brand as well, the way that you tailor your message comes down to how you define your ICP 1, 2, 3 levels. And I will always speak to the ICP 2s and 1s and find a way to use languages that repels the ICP 3s or people who don't align or don't align with your trait qualifiers. So for me, myself, I'm in the ops and COO/delegation space. And whilst I work with a lot of clients who are in different levels, one value that I want them to have is that they're not like this toxic hustle and grind person.
Yes, that's who I currently work with.
Because as someone who is consulting them on ops and delegation, if everybody's just obsessed with go, scale and grind as fast as possible, I don't care about profit margins or if people burn out, whether it be myself or my team members, and that's not going to be sustainable, and that's the people that I do not want to work with,
Right.
even though I make them scalable.
Right.
But so at least for me, value alignment is very important for me, especially when I am so into my client's business, because we do done with you and done for you.
Yeah, that's the thing that
Yeah.
I've been struggling with that, and I almost completely just scratched my whole offer because where I'm currently at, it's sucking so much bandwidth and energy because the values are so misaligned.
Yeah.
And so my perception of potential clients is based off of this client that I'm currently working with, that I've been with for years. And it turns me off to the idea of working with more of them.
Yeah.
So it's like, in reflection, I have to look inward and be like, okay, but like, how am I currently allowing myself to negotiate with my own values by accepting this type of company and doing work in this way?
Yeah. So that's exactly why we went from talking about which packaging option to go for to how you should qualify your clients first. Because ultimately, with everything that you're capable of doing for people, you can take so many directions, and I have no worries around what you can or cannot do.
Right.
It's about what we can do and have you be paid for that lights you up from within and gives you leverage rather than drains you from within. The first thing, so again, going back to these qualifier traits, number one, size, revenue and team size or their current team structure, that will be how I will qualify them to begin with. Number two would be their traits, as in, do they align with you? Do they display the behavior or beliefs that you want to work with as a person? And number three would be the industry, and for you, that would be medical sales agencies, at least for now.
Yeah, I
Yep.
would like to get out of medical sales eventually.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about this because right now your systems are built around this specific industry, but keep that.
And I think too, like, I've chosen that niche because I'm currently in it. So it's relevant and it's who I'm connected to within my network. But the model I would like to be able to use in any.
Yes. Last one. Their level of sophistication. Because for me, we have a recruitment branch in our agency, and sometimes clients can come to us and they technically are, like their size would be ICP1. They have a big team, they are established, they have big payroll, big revenue, but then their exposure to hiring virtual assistants or building SOPs or managing VAs are zero. They haven't even tried to hire a VA before or fail a hire before. That will raise a little bit red flags to me,
Right.
because that made me wonder, okay, how much do I need to teach you to give you that baseline knowledge and that baseline expectations on what this working relationship would look like?
Right.
And obviously, it can be offsetted by the traits of coachability or openness, so that's totally fine. But if they're like, oh, I hired these expensive contractors and we have this recruitment process, I don't care what your VA recruitment process looks like, but this is our recruitment process.
Right.
Then if they're that fixed of a mindset and they have no sophistication around how to hire and manage VA team specifically, then I will demote them in my ICP qualifier.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a fourth qualifier that I will qualify my class around.
Okay.
Because as you go ahead, when we're done with this, you will go from being the person who is looking to get hired to the person who can control who hires you.
Right.
In order for you to create that control, you've got to be very clear on who am I looking for.
Right.
And are we speaking the language of someone who's a total mess, who doesn't know what the term operations means?
Right.
Or are you talking to the person who's gone through a few operators, they know they need a proper operator and need proper systems, but they just don't know who is the best person to facilitate that?
Right.
Like that's a whole different language. It's like, let's say fitness, right? The language that you speak to, like you can be a fitness coach and you can either speak to a person who hasn't touched a dumbbell before in their lives or someone who's already fairly fit but wants to have their first bodybuilding show.
Right.
So this is the qualifier that is most neglected, but also most important, in my opinion.
Yes, good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So I'm not going to talk about trait sophistication for now because that's more about you.
Yeah, right.
And right now I want to dive just a little bit deeper on the team size because this system they've built is so powerful that it's impossible for one person to facilitate all of this. So that said, as you go into finding your ideal clients, you've got to look at, okay, what do I want their current, like ideally, who do I already want them to have on their team?
I think that I want them to already have the founder and maybe like at minimum 2 to 3 sales employees.
Okay. Yep. So founder.
Right.
And it's at the beginning.
The doers.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I think I'm really good at helping doers turn into leaders or helping leaders become better leaders.
Great. So in this case, the sales reps for medical sales agencies, if it's just a founder and a sales reps, these sales reps will also be facilitating fulfillment, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. From your point of view, for your industry, do you recommend that or do you recommend someone to be fully onto sales and someone to be fully onto fulfillment?
The industry standard is for sales to do also fulfillment.
Okay.
But I've recognized that that is a flaw in the system or the typical structure of the industry. And I think that's where the sales cycle often falls short.
Okay.
And so my perspective is that they need to create a position that doesn't necessarily like fully exist, but it's a sales development representative to do the sales, at least the beginning part of the sales process, so that sales process isn't falling short.
Yep.
And the senior reps be doing the fulfillment because the most important part is maintaining the relationship with the client.
Yep.
And the senior reps need to be involved in both the relationship sales part and the fulfillment, because fulfillment is where trust is built, and then therefore more sales, because they're in surgery, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm going to buy more from you, I need to trust that like you've got my back in surgery. And
Yeah.
that's not something the doers, like sales development reps, are necessarily qualified to do. So it's like the beginning stages of the sales cycle, the sales development reps need to do. Maintain the pipeline, keep the hygiene of the pipeline.
Yep.
Once that prospect goes into a certain stage of this sales cycle, then the fulfillment people also take them over at that point, so they can start doing customer retention and increasing the lifetime value of the customer.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. So we have the sales development reps or setters,
Yes.
as somebody would call them, and
Exactly.
then they will pass them to the closers, or for a better term, I like to use the term account executives,
Yes.
who also double down as the client relation person.
Yes.
Okay, great.
And then what happens often is the client relationship person who's doing the fulfillment will build enough trust with that client to where they can then take their associate and plug them into that client. Trust has been established. And then the senior rep is just delegating what they feel is appropriate.
Yep.
So we call them associate sales reps,
Okay.
ASR.
All right. So, what fuels a pipeline in this case? If there's no one in marketing, and if the typical lean team or the typical stage one growth of these agencies are founder plus 2 sales reps, where do they get their leads from?
Cold calling,
And that's done by SDRs.
SDRs, yes.
So the sales reps are more like BD.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So,
And the marketing efforts is trying to create a brand presence that creates more inbound interest so that all of the outreach isn't cold.
I think, okay, here's how I will approach the growth stages of your industry according to this example and according to the yay and boo that you have mentioned to me. So stage one, I'm just going to talk it out loud, okay?
Yeah.
So stage one, if this is the start point, quote start point, stage one, it will be sales ops restructuring. Stage two, it will be ASR, either in-house ascension or recruitment. And the sales ops will include the BD and outbound processes to sustain this current infrastructure.
Is that step 3?
Nope, that's just step 1 and 2.
Sorry, can you repeat that part?
So stage 1, the focus will be to dial in sales ops,
Right.
and that will include the stranger to close process through from outbound to qualification to closing to client relation. Yeah, so that will be the sales ops process. And just to make sure you are not the person who implements the execution.
Right, not doing the sales and the pipeline management.
Yes, you are devising the operational systems for sales, which you then use to train the sales team to
Right.
execute,
Right.
not execute yourself.
Yes.
Otherwise, you will become a sales team.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yes. So that will be stage 1.
Okay.
Stage 2, as the client relations are built, reputation is spreading and compounding in favor of the agency, then we will talk about onboarding and ASR. And this person will either be recruited by you out of house or ascended from the current team.
Right.
Either way works. It really depends on what makes most sense for a company. And then stage 3, that is only when I will look to diversify the acquisition process.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
if your industry is used to outbound, number 1, and number 2, inbound marketing is more often a currently experimental or invalidation process for you,
Yes.
let's not have that be a forefront. Let's
Right.
double down on what works first,
Okay.
scale that up, and then see whether it's worth diversifying inbound.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So, and the current agency that I have is having me do this, like they're aware this is exploratory with the marketing right now.
Yep.
And so I can keep that one agency and continue to get proof of concept,
Yes.
but not necessarily implement that into future clients until I've got proven concept.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's stage 3, which is again optional
Yeah.
if they want to go there. But from what I'm looking at right here, if I were to position your expertise, it would be around sales ops for medical sales agencies.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sales operations for medical sales agencies.
yeah, exactly. Because it sounds like you have a lot of knowledge around prospecting, qualification, sales scripts, sales ops.
Yeah.
And you also have an opinion and a superior alternative to how sales teams are being built out right now in your agency. So there's some elements of contrarian
Yes.
elements to your offer, which again can allow you to position yourself as a unique solution, which is superior to the traditional solution.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the third thing is that you also have experience with building a recruitment pipeline. But having been in recruitment myself, if you were to scale recruitment, at least in the early stages, I definitely do not recommend building recruitment pipelines for all roles.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
I will do is that if you ever touch done for you recruitment pipeline build outs and done for you recruitment for your clientele, sales recruitment, specifically sales recruitment.
Okay. Yeah, I think I want to stay away from doing done for you recruiting. I want to provide the system for doing it.
Okay.
Actually, I don't mind doing the recruitment, but only for sales. Or should I do recruitment for operations to train them on everything to then go and do that?
That would be, I will only see that being relevant for very established companies.
Yes, I
because
agree.
in order for a company to have an in-house recruiter recruiting sales reps or recruiting whoever as a full-time HR role, how big must that company be,
Yeah.
right? And you got to decide, okay, number one, do I want to do that for people? And number two, is that my bread and butter client? As in, are those bigger agencies my target clientele?
So
Then let's scrap that for now.
just the system is in the operating system. So like the talent acquisition, training, onboarding system is in the system that I want them to have access to, and I can train them on it, but I don't want to execute it.
Yep. And for the recruitment, now this is just speaking from personal experience. If the founder is number one busy, and number two doesn't have a recruitment background, it is very hard for you to train and quote unquote condition their behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it will be very hard to modify the behavior of the founder
Yes.
to get good at recruitments themselves.
Yes. Yes.
So again,
Which was my experience.
exactly. So there are two routes to go for. Number one, if these founders are open, they are driven, they are coachable around this process, then absolutely do that. If not, then you're left with the done for you option, which you can either do it yourself for them or partner up with a recruitment agency who is used to building a talent pool and placing sales reps for these industries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So should both of those things be a part of my offer, and then just depending on where the client's at, they pick which route, basically?
I would charge, so again, right here, okay, let me put it this way. I think comp plan, since everything here, you can do it for them because you have everything built out. You just have to customize the job title, JD. You just have to customize the job title, role responsibility, and comp plan, and you can do it for your clients without you spending a lot of time because it's just, again, a document.
Right.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
essentially I can just duplicate the template.
Yep. So I'm just going to say done for you / done with you because I don't think there's going to be a big decision point. There's those reversible decisions.
Right.
And onboarding, yeah, let's talk about onboarding training later on. It's a recruitment and hiring that we've got to figure out. So this is the decision that we have to make that has more weight. So
Yes.
recruitment, you can do done with you if the founder is open to implementing it themselves. Or if you do done for you, you must charge extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must charge extra for
Yes.
that.
So I need to figure out what my core offer is and then what the upsell is.
I will classify this as an add-on.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And onboarding and training, that would just be a part of sales ops because if you were to develop the SDRs and do a sales ops, then it will be pretty routine to have onboarding, like to have sales ops to begin at the moment where somebody new is hired. Yeah.
And so like I think my thing is agencies don't have an onboarding and training program, and so that's what I create for them.
Yes, because unless you have that, then even their existing team would not know how to implement your process.
So I just have the structure and then they basically customize it with them based off of their business. Okay.
Exactly. Cool. So again, like this include in sales ops as core deliverable. Yeah.
As part of core offer.
Yep, exactly. Part of
Okay.
core offer.
Where
Yeah.
does executive coaching come in, or consulting?
I would just have this be something that is organically, just organically recurs.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna position your offer around, hey, I can help your agency build your sales team, but if you ever need therapy or if you ever need to bring down your emotions onto me, I will include executive coaching as part of my offer.
Yeah, kind of like, I feel like in terms from an offer and messaging standpoint, all of this is more like tangible and like results, like ROI, like it's clear, the ROI is clear, whereas like executive coaching can be like nuanced, like a little
Exactly.
fluffy,
Yeah.
you know, where they're like, sounds good, but do I really need that type of
Yes.
thing? Yeah, and performance coaching for the team.
Yes, this I will include as a retainer basis.
Okay.
So whenever I approach ops or or like systems turnover for our clients, I always break down fulfillment into 3 phases. Number 1, there is onboarding. Number 2, there is execution. Number 3, there is optimization.
Okay, yeah.
So onboarding, it will include you going in and auditing their whole sales process to begin with and the whole status of their team, sales ops, and the founder's situation and their goals. And then step 2, you will devise a roadmap to implement your OS according to the situation of the company.
Right, that's execution,
Yes,
right?
that's execution.
Yeah.
You will need to devise a roadmap first.
Right.
And then you will execute the roadmap alongside the founder and their existing team.
And then that would be utilizing the system.
Yes, so that will be you implementing the sales script, you implementing the outbound process, you implementing the prospecting process, and you implementing the team restructuring process within your OS. And that's all already built out nicely in your Notion. And again, you are implementing it with them, not for them. You're not taking the dials.
Right.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend, like the cadence of meeting with the founder or the team for implementation? Like, is this like an everyday something you do every day, or is this like weekly touch points? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Strike a balance between, number 1, what is necessary to generate results for our clients, and also secondly, what do you want to charge for? Because obviously people can technically pay me to have 24/7 access with them and have one-on-one calls with them daily, and they would technically be able to get results faster.
Yeah.
But are those people, like, is that feasible for them financially? Typically, like, probably not.
Right, right.
For most cases, if you were to have me be with you on a daily basis.
Right.
So I would say a cadence. For example, you can do, let's say, if you were to take on multiple clients though, what I will do is to have a weekly cadence in a group coaching manner.
Right, yeah.
Every single one of your clients' sales reps can hop onto your calls and get coached around sales performance.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
That is scalable for you.
Yeah, so weekly cadence of group coaching.
Group coaching for sales reps. And then for one-on-ones, that will again
Be with the founder?
Yeah, that would be with the founder, and maybe the ASR when it's time. Because I will never, like, I would rarely do one-on-ones with tier 3. I would do one-on-ones with tier 1 and tier 2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
I don't
will-
want to do one-on-ones with you.
Yeah, I would typically front load the one-on-ones, and then when you reach the optimization phase, that is when you decide how tight you want that feedback loop to be for your clients. When you execute, you want your sales team to be the people who uses your system to create the data that will be used for strategization.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
again, you're not the person tracking it. You teach your sales team how to track it because they are the front lines, and come up with a report which you will then bring to the next meeting with your founder for optimization.
Yeah, yeah.
So obviously you will have KPIs, you will look at the current numbers and match them with benchmarks and identify bottlenecks, and then you will simply go back to the onboarding, execution, optimization loop.
Right.
After onboarding, you execute, gather data, optimize, execute, gather data, optimize. And that is where the retention comes in.
Okay, so
Cool.
3 phases: onboarding, execution, optimization. Front load the one-to-ones. Establish a weekly cadence of group coaching for scalability purposes, right? And then feedback loop is in the optimization phase.
Yeah. So if we were to look at the deliverables, you will have this right here. You will have the agency OS right here. But then this looks more like built out for marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
for
yes.
custom GP for sales.
Yeah.
So if it's for sales, then I'm just gonna check the sales part.
And I kind of want to
Yeah.
also utilize the prompt that Matt was talking about earlier, like the Board of Advisor GPT. So that exactly.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's good. And go high level, white label, I think, like, given the opportunity dashboard and everything that is involved with the go high level white label that you
Yeah.
built, you can train your sales team to use that. So I'll
Yeah.
include that as well.
I've
Yeah.
thought about creating a course that basically teaches specifically how to use the system,
Yes, I will either do that,
train them.
for sub-account onboardings. That's what
Okay.
we do for a lot of our clients. In fact, a lot of our clients are go high-level agencies, and the founder themselves are sick and tired of building the sub-account for their clients for the 700,000 times.
Right.
So we just train VAs who are go high-level certified to build out the go high-level accounts
Okay.
for their clients.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but obviously, if anyone on your client's team is able to be trained on go high level and be the person who implements it, then absolutely you can do that.
Yeah, yeah.
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 But in most cases they don't, so we
Right.
just hire a VA to do it for them.
To do
Go high level implementation.
implementation.
Yes.
Like just in the beginning or continuously?
Just main sub-account build out using snapshots,
I see.
maybe tech support, but not like in there updating the CRM.
Got it. Okay. So
Yeah.
so one person needs to be. This may go back to ideal client, but I notice that there's resistance from the people that I work with, because they don't use a CRM.
You can just, if they're used to using that, then just create courses around what you need them to do.
Yeah.
CRM.
Okay.
Because ultimately, you can just break down the use cases and tell them, hey, this is how we, let's say, manage our pipeline and go high level. You use Pipedrive, that's completely fine, but watch how we do it, because this is the best way to do it, for example.
Or they don't use a CRM at all.
If they don't use a CRM at all, then perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's resistance because they're not used to using a system.
Mm-hmm.
So then do you think that's where like the course would be beneficial? Because it's like,
Yes.
okay, you don't know how, but I'm saying you should. So go here is the course for that extra resource support. Okay.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
Okay.
But again, you can build this out when it's time. You don't have to build this out then sell.
Right.
Right? So right here, I'm just going to put a big bracket on here because this is experimental. I would not sell this yet unless you have dialed in to a point where you can just disrupt the whole lead gen world of your medical sales agency industry.
Right.
I would just not create a systematized fulfillment process for marketing for them.
Yeah.
Okay. So then again, for sales, everything that you're doing for your clients, this prospecting, train the sales team to do it. Qualification process, negotiations, you train them, and the sales ops strategy. This is where you work closely with the founder or the sales reps to implement using your agency OS.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So obviously, this is pretty much done with you, done for you, because you've built out so many sales ops and sales SOPs. I've seen your Notion.
Yeah.
So you can position this as mostly done for you. You just have to customize it for the specific clients.
So basically, I would just duplicate that Notion space and customize it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, we've covered ops. So there we go. We have the deliverables, we have the ICP qualifications, and just a wrap.
Pricing.
I help, pricing. Just go wrap with the 1 segment first.
Yeah.
So right now, we have gone from I am the chief everything officer of medical sales agencies who does everything for them and with them, to I help medical sales agencies to turn over their sales teams and streamline sales operations for scale.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm writing that down.
Streamline sales operations
for scale.
For scale.
Okay, I like that.
Okay. So I help who achieve yay without boo. So the problem they have right now is what? Even if the founder is maxed out, even if the founder is like, even if your current sales team sucks, whatever that is, or without diving into HR hell, like just I would have you brainstorm this and then what is their main objection.
The messaging down for that, right?
So for the pricing, I'm not really a fan of performance-based pricing.
Yeah.
Completely honest with you.
I'm curious
what
why.
I will do is to charge a fixed onboarding fee, followed by a fixed monthly retainer.
Okay.
And then your fixed monthly retainer can be bolted on with its own upsell mechanism.
Yeah.
For example, you can, first off, add on the done for you recruitment for whoever needs that. Secondly, is that you can also tier the retainer on the size of their sales teams. And once you validate the marketing process, you can also ask them, hey, Mr. Client, I have built your sales team out. They're now killers. You have a strong outbound pipeline. You have strong reputation. And I think it's now time for us to put that reputation to work.
Yeah.
With inbound marketing.
I like.
We're open to that. Yes, I'll be open to that. Okay, great. Well, just want to let you know, apart from sales ops, we do opportunity generation or marketing for medical sales agencies. Would you want to have a conversation with that? How many leads are you looking to get? Just have that conversation, and then if they want to hire you for marketing as well, you can upsell that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are upsell opportunities.
Yeah.
And then basically like so it'd be onboarding fee. And then how long should what do I want the monthly retainer? Because in the beginning I was like, okay, I'll do a $25,000 offer for 3 months. And then if they want to keep me on a retainer after the 3 months is up of like getting them set up and implemented.
Yeah.
Then
A 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 ratio would be great. For example, the onboarding fee will be $25,000 for the first 3 months, and then later on it can be, let's say, $3K per month for month to month with no fixed contracts.
Yeah.
For example.
Okay. And so do you think 25,000 sounds about right?
What are the results that your clients are looking for? That would depend on, again, their before and after when it comes to your ICP gradings, but based on how you are currently being paid by your current agency, I think that's fair.
Okay.
You are generating multiple 6 figures in growth for your current agency. So I think asking for 25,000 upfront is not going to be a hard sell at all. That's actually pretty reasonable.
Okay. Yeah, I felt like that was pretty reasonable. And would I want to do that as like an upfront payment or right? Okay. Upfront payment of 25 and then retainer after that. Okay.
Cool.
So size, we want to size.
You can just take a photo of this whole thing.
I think it helps me think and write. It helps me cement it in.
We have to transcribe the whole thing. We got it right here.
That's so true. Okay, let's transcribe that. How do we do that though? How do you transcribe your video?
Well, it's going to be on YouTube, and you can transcribe YouTube videos.
Oh, right.
And then you can plot the transcription into Claude, ChatGPT, or whatever.
Right.
And yeah, there's going to be there on the records.
Will you let me know when it's up?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. This was very helpful. I needed to just help somebody sort through my brain with me in the offer.
That's fine.
Thank you